Man, I've been thinking about this workout for the last few days. Ever since the last time I did pinch squats, which was 2 days ago, I've been thinking about this workout. How am I going to get through another session of, lower back pump from hell? I didn't want to go there again. Working with that nasty lower back pump. I know some of you guys have said it sucks. It definitely sucks, man. I remember back in the day, I used to get these lower back pumps from hell. Sometimes when I'd squat, but a lot of the time when I used to deadlift. So I don't like that. That's a shitty feeling to have, because the whole idea there is that something is wrong. Why is your lower back getting fried? Your lower back is not supposed to be a primary mover. It's supposed to stabilize, but why is it firing up so much? Am I not aligning myself properly through this lift? The pinch squats for me just fry me, and you would think to yourself that if you were doing like deadlifts or some sort of pulling motion or RDLs or kind of bent over rows, then your lower back would come in. But in a pinch squat, it doesn't really make sense when I think about it. So today I was kind of worried about how the session was going to go, where I was going to end up. I still feel these pinch squats are a large part of my success recently. Today is day 5 of me squatting every single day, hitting 200, that is, in the last 5 days. So that's an incredible accomplishment for me, and I've been feeling unbelievable. And I know, we've discussed this, the recovery is a large portion of this, but I still feel the pinch squats have offered me something. We've discussed, what exactly they've kind of offered me, but whatever they're doing something good to me. However, the drawback to that is that this lower back pump, man, this is debilitating stuff, and I really don't like having these lower back pumps when I'm squatting. I've said this to you guys in the past. The only cue really that I think about when I squat is keep your back flat. Keep your back flat, keep your back flat. That's all I ever think about. That's my biggest concern. I've said this story in the past, kind of, past videos where I think I was like 21, 22, 23, around that period. So I wasn't powerlifting training or strength training, but I had a moment in the gym where I was doing these just tricep extensions, seated tricep extensions. And, when you put your hands kind of in a diamond shape and you drop the dumbbell kind of behind your head. So I was doing them. And as I was kind of completing one of these sets and I, was trying to put the dumbbell down. So I went to the shoulder, rested it there, handled my weight and put it back down. I heard a pop. I went to the floor. I had intense pain in the lower back, and then I kind of lost my feeling, lost the sensation on my legs. That was probably the scariest thing I've ever felt in my life in terms of training. I was there for like 10 or 15 minutes, kicking myself mentally, like, what have you done, man? Like, you've done your back in. Back then, I used to worry about, triceps, biceps, chest, like, bodybuilder stuff. That used to be my goal, just to get bigger, back then. That was a turning point in my life in terms of training. That's kind of the moment that I went, okay, I need to have a strong core. All this other shit that we worry about, traps, chest, pecs, triceps, arms, all this sort of stuff is just noise when you compare it to the importance of your lower back and your core. And so from that moment on, I kind of got out of that unscathed. Like, I went home and I recovered really well, and I never had really ongoing pain from that. So I was really, really lucky. What that pop sensation was, I don't really know to this day. I haven't had any back problems since then. I've just committed myself to like compound movements, training movements rather than muscle groups. So I haven't really trained muscle groups for a very long time. Like, my number one concern, basically from that moment on, in some sort of fashion or form of fashion, like, I always wanted to train movements, because I feel like if you train movements, you're going to get good at everything that's required to move, not just a muscle. So that's kind of scared the hell out of me. So when I do these pinch squats and I get this lower back pump, I almost feel like, man, I feel like I lose touch with my lower back in a sense. I know it's pumped and it's engorged, but the sensation gets weird, because even standing straight, you're feeling this pump. And so when you're loading it, like, I don't have the right sensory input from my back when I'm really kind of pumped up down there. So I wanted to come in today. I wanted to hit, a heavy weight. I wanted to kind of progress these pinch squats, because I feel like they're a large part of what's happening in this kind of block. And so you see here, this is 240 kilos. So I had a good session. The pump wasn't severe. You also saw me stretching there a moment ago. For some reason, stretching the hamstrings alleviated the pain. Not the pain, I don't have the pain. It alleviated the pump, and it made me feel good. So I was kind of stretching throughout the sets, only the hamstrings, which kind of led me to hit 240. I mean, 240 is a lot of weight through the spine. So I don't know whether my hamstrings are partly to blame in my lower back pumps. I'm not sure. This fella here was also another subscriber. So yesterday I met a couple of subscribers. Today I also met a couple of a subscriber today. Had a chat to this fella. He's also into kind of powerlifting and training. So it was really cool to kind of meet another fella. So shout out to you. He said to me he watches every day, man. So it was really cool to see, the common session in flesh again. So really cool. So yeah, the pit squats went well. I went to 240. The lower back pump wasn't as severe as 2 days ago. So I kind of feel like I've uncovered something here. I feel like I need to stretch my hamstrings more. I can't explain why that kind of makes me feel better in the workout. Maybe the hamstring stretch also stretches the lower back in a way. I'm not sure. But I felt good. I felt good after that. 2 days ago, when I went to squatting after the pin squats, I was still feeling really, really crap with the lower back. But in this moment, doing 60 kilos, I felt good at this point. So there was no major lower back pump, so I felt real good. And you'll see later on in the session, I ended up hitting 200 kilos again for the 5th time, which is freaking nuts still. I still haven't gotten used to this idea. And so I felt so well that I decided to do some back off sets. So I did 180 kilos for 5 sets of doubles. That felt good. That felt smooth. I feel like I could have done sets of 3, which is crazy. I was telling my cameraman, for the longest time, I was stuck on 180 times 1 as my daily kind of grind. And now I'm hitting 180 for kind of my working sets, if you will, my back off sets. So it's feeling really good. The bar's moving really nicely. So I'm kind of really, really in a good spot right now. 180 for five doubles, man. I have to say that again, it's crazy. After this, I did some bench press again. My cameraman said, "Why are you doing this bench press? You can't even you're doing it half-assed. You're not really dedicating a lot of time to it." Man, I don't like doing bench press. I'm all about the squat and the deadlift. That's all I care about. But also, I think there's some balance that you need in your human body, right? You need to be able to push and pull as well in the upper body. So I'll never dedicate a whole hour of benching because I'll just get bored. I know it sounds crazy because I'm a guy that squats every day, so I love training, but we all love something. Some of you guys hate squatting, some of you guys hate benching. I'm one of those guys that when I'm so focused on one thing, like the squat, and all I really care about is progressing that thing, I use up so much of my mental energy in that kind of goal and thinking about that, then I don't really spend too much time thinking about the bench press. So when it comes to doing the bench press, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, let's just do something. Because I'm never going to allocate an hour to it, so I might as well allocate frequent 15-minute sessions. So 2 days ago, I did a bunch of benching. Today, I did some benching as well. The whole thing took 10 minutes. And then after the benching, I did some leg extensions. That was the session today. But the moral of the story today basically is, man, these last 5 days, man, are going to go down in my record as the best week of my training life. I've had annual leave before. I've had moments where I haven't worked for a month and a half, 2 months, I think the longest is I've had off work. But I've never felt like this, man. So even though I want to attribute all of the success to the rest, I can't do that wholeheartedly because I've had this type of stretch before where I've kind of been free from work and I haven't had this success. So I think there's a combination of things going on here. Definitely the rest is helping. Definitely, I'm convinced the pin squats are doing something. They are doing something. Whether it's a CNS driver, whether it's the core driver, whether it's a quad, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a combination of all those things. That's working. And also, because I'm doing so much damn work so frequently, I have upped my calories. Now, I don't know what the calories are. I don't count them. But I've definitely started eating more food because my number one concern now is this crazy push that I've had. I've rested a lot. I've eaten a lot. So what am I eating? I'm not eating anything spectacular. I'm just eating kind of more frequently. So I'm one of those guys that I can't eat 5 messy meals a day. I just don't have that kind of appetite. I'm maybe good for 2 big meals per day. But what I've done is I've just started drinking milk kind of throughout the day. So I've had 3 glasses of milk throughout the day, kind of, around the place. And then sometimes I have cereal as well. So I'll put, cornflakes in or granola or something like this just to break up the monotony of milk. So I've kind of consumed more calories. And I think that's also playing a large part into my, recovery. I think diet is a big thing. I've had a lot of time to think about what you guys have been telling me. A lot of you guys have been telling me that I look skinny as shit. And my frame can definitely take more muscle mass. So that's been kind of on my mind for the last kind of several weeks. I agree with you. I think my body naturally can hold more muscle. My concern has always been I don't want to put on just any type of weight. But now that I'm doing this crazy amount of work every day with these pin squats and daily 200s, I think the stimulus is there for new muscle to be created. So I'm consuming more calories. I don't weigh myself that often, but I've weighed myself the other day and I was 95 kilos. So from 94 to 95, I've gained. I don't know what time span, like it's been probably a few months since I last weighed myself, but I'm a little heavier. And I don't have a gut, I don't have any fat anywhere. So I think some muscle tissue kind of I've made, which could maybe explain why I feel so strong. Before, going back maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, there was like a month and a half period where I was just doing high reps, lots and lots of high reps, bodyweight squats, Bulgarian split squats. I did up to like 300 bodyweight squats in one session, I remember. So lots and lots of volume. So maybe that's kind of made that muscle, and now I'm kind of realizing the new strength potential. Maybe that's what's happening. Several of you guys always tell me that the best way to train is block periodization. I've kind of, in a weird way, block periodize without directly wanting to do this, just kind of out of necessity, out of trying to kind of make myself more balanced, attacking weaknesses through the Bulgarian split squats, unilateral leg movements. So I've kind of done that. I kind of paid the price with it because I got sick several times this winter. My kids kind of going to childcare, kindy, bringing back bugs. It's winter, corona, vaccines, all this sort of stuff. It's kind of hit me. And then I was doing a stupid amount of volume with these kind of like high rep sessions. But anyway, I kind of paid the price for it, but I think there was some gains to be had from all that. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing pin squats with super maximum weights. I'm hitting 200 regularly. So it's almost like, a little bit of a cycle there, a block periodization cycle where I've kind of done your hypertrophy and strength block, and now I'm kind of doing a peaking block in a way. It's not like textbook stuff, I realize this, but it's in my kind of madness of squatting every day that I've managed to kind of hit these different rep ranges. So it's all kind of coming together. Just my brain's kind of on fire. I'm still kind of looking for reasons why this is happening. 5 days of hitting 200 in a row. There's no way in hell 200 is my max. It's impossible. Like, you can't hit your max 5 days in a row. How far we can extrapolate that strength, to what number, to 10, to 15, I'm not sure, but the momentum is crazy. The momentum is crazy right now, so I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing this momentum and see where if I can continue hitting 200s. The pin squats are feeling better already, so maybe next session I'll do a bit more pin squats. So I'm not trying to play with the recipe, but I'm just trying to look for the reasons, what's going on here, because I want to replicate this. I want to find the cause and effect of what's happening here. Anyway, guys, some more of my thoughts. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another workout. Peace out.